Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Both the Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate on TV said we've done a great job cutting the budget, and they have. They said we went line item by line item, and they found the $6 billion worth of cuts. My question is, why weren't they looking at those same line items that didn't affect us at all just because they had the money?
Right.
What are you going to do to control this?
Right, and you've seen, like was stated before, and I can't remember who stated it, but you've seen almost a double in the state legislature's budget because times were good. And I'm excited about the time that I'm in to run for the legislature because I have the opportunity, because of the economy, to cut as much of the programs and the government waste that are out there and help bring more tax dollars back to you and back in your pocket, and not to programs that are inefficient and don't work. So I look forward to that opportunity. Yes, ma'am.
Craig, you said that you have legislative experience. Can you tell me who you returned for to get
Yep.
that experience?
Absolutely. I interned.
Would you repeat that question, Greg? Nobody heard that.
She asked about my legislative experience. I worked in the state house. Adam Putnam is actually a fraternity brother of mine. He was in the state legislature when I was in. He was in the state legislature when I was an undergrad. So I had some experience working out of his office. Joe Spratt was the commissioner.
But did you intern? You
Yeah,
had an
state.
internship. Yeah.
Right.
Who did you intern for?
At the U.S. congressional level, I interned for the way that the program was set up. The University of Florida had a pilot program to select 2 students in the whole university to represent them in Congress. And so what they did was they used the congresswoman who represented Gainesville to serve in that capacity. So I actually interned in Congressman Karen Thurman's seat because she was the representative over the University of Florida at that time. It was set up through the university.
So how did you feel about being an intern for a Democrat?
That was an interesting experience. I can tell you a long story about that when I first got there. The university didn't tell them that I was a Republican when I arrived. So and I'm not exaggerating this, the very first day I showed up, I was answering phones and I went to the chief of staff in the office and I said, you know, I can't represent the views of this office. You do know I'm a Republican, right? And it was like the plate kind of fell. She looked at me, and then she looked around, and then she looked at me, and she ran straight into the congresswoman's office, and I hadn't even met her yet. So the chief of staff runs in there, and they were in there for about 30 minutes, and of course they dragged me in. So the first time I met her was under this pretense, and she said, you know, we can move you to a Republican's office. We can do this. I said, that is your congressional office, it's up to you, but I really don't think it's a good idea for me to be answering your phone calls in your office because I'm a Republican and I'm not going to go against the views that I have as a Republican and answer phones in your office. So it was great. 2 seconds.
That's our 7 minutes.
All right.
Thank you.